Kapiriamposhi, Kabwe, Lusaka, Kapfiwe, Choma, Mazabuka, Livingston, Chipata, Chinsali, Kasama, Mansa, Solwezi, and Mongu. Feel free to interact with us and let us know where you are watching from. Only on your Top Star Decoders Channel 91, Sun FM TV. Radio Gone Rogue. Radio Gone TV.
Sometimes life happens, and we all need that extra something to sort things out. Stay ahead, even before payday, with the ABSA Salary Advance. Get a convenient and quick short-term loan payable in 3 months at an affordable rate. Get the support you need when you need it, and keep your story going. Call 5950 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
For in-depth news coverage from across Zambia, local and national news, business, politics, and sports, this is the Sun FM News, brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
The news.
Hello, thank you for making a date with us here on Sun FM Radio and TV. To present the news, my name is Imelda Chikwati. The headlines. Zambia's High Commissioner to Botswana, Pamela Chisanga, has called on Zambia and Botswana to capitalize on their shared economic strengths and bilateral ties to attract tangible investment across key sectors. The Ministry of Tourism has set a target to fully digitize all tourism licenses by the end of 2025 in a bid to enhance efficiency and transparency within the sector. The Patriots for Economic Progress PEP have proposed the establishment of a 2 billion kwacha contingency fund in their 2026 alternative national budget to enhance fiscal sustainability and enabling swift response to unforeseen national emergencies. Zanaco Football Club head coach Nomba Mumamba has described his team's 1-1 draw against the Green Buffaloes in their Week 7 fixture as a fair outcome, though he expressed disappointment over missed scoring opportunities. Stay tuned for the details.
The news, 88.5 Sun FM.
Zambia's High Commissioner to Botswana, Pamela Chisanga, has called on Zambia and Botswana to capitalize on their shared economic strengths and bilateral ties to attract tangible investment across key sectors. Speaking at the Africa Early Stage Investor Summit in Gaborone, held in partnership with the Zambia High Commission, the Africa Business Angel Network ABAN, and VC4A, Ms. Chisanga emphasized that regulatory harmonization between the two nations could enable innovations to scale seamlessly across borders. The High Commissioner underscored Zambia's commitment to economic diplomacy, noting that one of its core pillars is to increase the private sector participation in agriculture, tourism, and mining. She further highlighted the importance of innovation, digitalization, and strategic partnerships as key drivers of a sustainable development. Also speaking at the summit, Mr. Moketsi Tekere, managing partner at Pula Space, encouraged young people to actively engage in startup development and embrace emerging technologies to shape Africa's investment future. The summit themed Africa Built to Last, Capital Strategy and Ownership convened investors, startups, and ecosystem leaders to explore pathways for early-stage investment across the continent. Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba has announced that the Ministry of Tourism has set a target to fully digitize all tourism licenses by the end of 2025 in a bid to enhance efficiency and transparency within the sector. Speaking during a media briefing in Livingston, Mr. Sikumba stated that the initiative forms part of broader efforts to modernize tourism management and streamline access to government services for operators. He emphasized that technology has become a vital tool in improving service delivery and boosting competitiveness in the tourism industry. Mr. Sikumba made the remarks while officiating at the launch of ABSA's new Mobi Tap platform, a digital solution designed to simplify financial transactions for tourists and traders.
That many times we find that our colleagues find it difficult to actually buy anything around our cities because of obviously trying to figure out what the exchange rate is, probably going to the bureau to change their dollars, their euros, their pounds into kwacha. But this facility itself will now be able to now just cross smart invoicing. It's just a sure way of you having to manage your business. We're trying to formalize a business which ordinarily today makes 1,000 kwacha. By end of 2025, most of the licenses that are obtained from the Ministry of Tourism need to be digital, or rather online. And indeed, as such, we should also be able to now figure out exactly what other payments that the ministry receives, which will actually be digital.
Meanwhile, ABSA Bank's head of digital and technology transformation, Owen Malambo, highlighted that the new platform will benefit small and medium enterprises which often face difficulties in accessing financial services. He reaffirmed the bank's commitment to promoting digital inclusion and supporting economic growth through technology-driven innovations. Mr. Malambo stressed that digital transformation is no longer optional, but a necessity for businesses aiming to grow and remain competitive in today's dynamic market.
A very secure payment platform going to allow our customers out there, local and international, whether it's Visa, fits in the pocket, uses the most basic payment approach. Within 3 steps, you are able to make a payment. But the biggest advantage of this product is that it can convert your phone into a payment platform. And what you do is you easily just download the app.
The opposition Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, has eliminated the Constituency Development Fund CDF from its 2026 alternative national budget, arguing that national development should be coordinated by the executive arm of government rather than Parliament. Speaking at a media briefing, PEP leader Sean Tembo announced that the party's alternative budget reduces the CDF allocation from the 6.2 billion kwacha proposed by government to 0. He emphasized that Parliament's primary role is to enact and repeal laws, not to execute development projects. Mr. Tembo claimed this distracts lawmakers from their legislative duties, resulting in poor quality laws that often require frequent amendments. He further argued that the CDF has been vulnerable to abuse due to inadequate accountability mechanisms. PEP's position, he said, is that decentralization should be implemented through local authorities rather than constituency committees, which he believes are less effective in delivering development. In a separate proposal, Mr. Tembo advocated for the creation of a 2 billion kwacha contingency fund, describing it as an essential component of a sustainable national budget to help the country respond to unforeseen events and reduce reliance on supplementary budgets.
The biggest challenge that government has is the issue of inefficiency, the failure to properly manage the affairs of the nation, the failure to ensure that people who are appointed to run institutions, whether those institutions are government departments or government agencies, are actually held to account in terms of their ability to deliver.
The 1995 cohort of retrenched Zambia Railways employees has reiterated its appeal to government to intervene and compel the company to honor court rulings mandating the payment of their outstanding dues nearly 3 decades after their separation. Speaking on behalf of the group in Livingston, Mr. Nelson Simonga, chairperson of the 1995 retrenched Zambia Railways Workers Committee, stated that the former employees and their families have endured prolonged hardship despite securing favorable judgments in both the High Court and the Supreme Court. Mr. Simonga explained that although the courts ruled in their favor, many of the affected individuals have since passed away without receiving compensation. He emphasized that the company's continued non-compliance with the court decisions has exacerbated the suffering of affected families, many of whom remain represented by surviving spouses and children, demanding what is rightfully owed to them. The committee has now made a direct appeal to President Hakainde Hichilema and Vice President Mtalina Lumango to resolve the long-standing grievance. Mr. Simonga reaffirmed the group's hope that government will act decisively to bring closure to their 30-year wait for justice and compensation.
30 years have gone by, but for a group of former Zambia railway workers in Livingstone, their wait for their money has never ended. They were retrenched in 1995 with the promise of terminal benefits, but the promise was never kept. What should have been compensation for the years of service has turned into a lifetime of disappointment. Despite winning all legal battles in the courts of law, no single kwacha has ever been paid. Speaking on behalf of the group in Livingstone, Nelson Simonga, chairperson of the 1995 retrenched Zambia railway workers, called on government to ensure Zambia Railways respects the court's judgment.
Some administrators, their brothers and their fathers and mothers died who were working in Zambia Railways. So we are appealing to the president to look into this matter, because Zambia is not bigger than the court. What the court says, somebody should follow. If I'm guilty to the court of law, I should be punished. So Zambia should pay because they lost the case in the court of law.
Today, many of those workers are gone. Their widows are left behind, raising children, carrying their burdens, and remembering the pain of losing loved ones without any support.
As a widow, we are pleading. We are asking you, on behalf of my fellow widows, and a lot of the widows are gone, leaving children stranded. This is maybe, I would say, on my part, we have too many street kids.
The survivors say enough is enough and are appealing to government to step in.
This has taken over 30 years. We've been trying to get these monies, the monies that are due to the people. We are appealing to the government to help us and please have this thing resolved. Most of the people have died.
Zengataza kuli mutu wabulele likajenga tangata saukupa fela kuonda te kumwana ke Hakainde Hichilema nivo mabo mutale na Lumango balu utwele mangeke kakuli o munso wona nisishemu wo utwela kulila kwa batu twele lwakupa anzimo niko na kukupela kapanilile niweze chani kumena wona Lumango ne Hakainde Hichilema mwanake kimwanake wakuipepela alu utwele butuku kafela nabakubukanifa.
Professional insurance released the pension money to Zambia Railways, our pension money, on 10th July 2017. But up to now, Zambia Railways has not paid anybody that pension.
So back in 1995, imari ngeturomba kuliva president kuti vatugwashe tulawinanga mulandu kuma high court basitakwe tevatugwasha
kona kuli mabasi kafela atamirifa kubona manyandu aliteni mwala asivaka kamolu kupashemo kuli bo president balutalini kakula kuna molu kona kweveza mashire bakuzwa 1995 kutana kwe 50 years akona sibona mantu mama koti bafita baso ibaluza kuna batalimi kuli batuba
bakon lokona ko batusa chwani tele monso au lutalime bona lumango kiba salinde luna kiba chemba luna beluzi bakuli bakona kulutusa hamoni bo president wa kaindi basana kutalima manyando aluna mabona fese lufita machembe nuna luchwe lusiyema chilinga abana baluna musachifateni.
As the years continue to pass, their hope grows thinner, but still they hold on. They believe one day justice shall be served under the UPND government. Augustine Kapambwe, reporting for Sun TV News in Livingstone District, Southern Province.
Southern Province Minister Credo Nanjua has raised concern over mounting socio-economic pressures in the region, citing a persistently high poverty rate of 63.5% and continued agricultural vulnerability due to climate-induced shocks. Speaking during the 20th anniversary celebration of the Response Network in Livingstone, Mr. Nanjua emphasized that the combined challenges of rapid population growth, erratic rainfall patterns, and deepening poverty necessitate urgent community-driven interventions. He underscored the importance of youth empowerment, climate resilience, and increased the participation of women in economic activities as critical pillars for reversing development setbacks in the province. The minister commended the Response Network for its impactful outreach, having directly benefited over 160,000 individuals through initiatives such as climate-smart agriculture, women's savings groups, vocational training, and support for girl-child education. He further noted that governance awareness campaigns and the construction of community schools have enhanced accountability and expanded opportunities for rural households. The minister described the 20-year milestone as a strategic platform to deepen partnerships and sustain long-term development impact.
And rather than dependence, it has advanced empowerment, encouraging communities to share, to harness their own resources, and to stand firm on the pillars of human rights, accountability, and collective progress. This philosophy, Your Royal Highnesses, is not only practical, it is powerful. It has proven to be the master key unlocking the potential of our people to rise above poverty and to live with dignity. It is development that speaks the language of empowerment, not charity, of partnership, not patronage.
Meanwhile, Response Network Country Director Mutukwa Matengenya highlighted tangible outcomes, including improved agricultural yields, increased female leadership, expanded access to education for children, and widespread adoption of climate-smart practices. He credited the organization's progress to strong partnerships with government ministries, traditional leaders, and local authorities. He particularly praised the collaboration with the traditional chiefs in promoting women's participation in decision-making, describing it as a model of inclusive governance that has strengthened community leadership. Looking ahead, Mr. Matengenya identified 5 strategic priorities for the organization: education, small business development, agriculture, climate change adaptation, and broader community empowerment. He emphasized that the next phase of the Response Network's work will focus on innovation and enhanced collaboration to address emerging challenges.
Going further, Honorable Minister, we have 9 ministries that we have been dealing with in the respective districts. The Minister of Education through the GEP's office, the Minister of Community Development, the Minister of Agriculture through the Task Force office. They've all opened our doors, they've all opened their doors to us, and this is the reason we've been able to achieve the results that you've heard about. I do not also forget the traditional leaders. Chief Musokotwani, If you've been paying attention on the pictures that are scrolling there, you probably would have seen Chief Sokotlaki in one of the areas that we are implementing. We went together, we had a good day out with the chief. We even had lunch together in the community, and they were looking at the activities that we are doing. This gives us the impetus to achieve whatever we are achieving.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Division of the High Court has ordered the forfeiture of over 8.1 million kwacha to the state, ruling that the funds were proceeds of a fraudulent gold transaction involving a Zambian company and a foreign buyer based in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. The funds were traced to Lusaka Gold and Platinum Refinery Limited, which had claimed to be exporting gold to Smolensky Trading LLC, a Dubai-based firm formerly operating under the name Eptichia General Trading LLC. Investigations revealed that the Zambian company was neither licensed to the trade nor process minerals and lacked valid export permits under the Mines and Minerals Development Act. The court found the transaction to be a sham designed to disguise illicit financial flows under the pretense of mineral trade. In its defense, the foreign company argued that it had been misled and had paid over $700,000 in good faith, believing it was purchasing legitimate consignments of gold. However, a panel of 3 judges ruled that the company failed to conduct basic due diligence, such as verifying the licensing status of its Zambian counterpart. The court emphasized that a valid export permit is a legal requirement for any entity seeking to move minerals across Zambia's borders. The absence of such documentation rendered the transaction illegal. The judges further held that the foreign company's failure to make reasonable inquiries amounted to willful blindness, meeting the threshold for complicity under the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act. The 8.1 million kwacha was declared tainted property derived from the serious offense of obtaining financial advantage by false pretenses. Although the law allows an interested party to retain property acquired for fair value and without knowledge of criminality, the court found that the foreign buyer could not rely on this protection due to its lack of reasonable verification. This is the news on Sun FM Radio and TV. We take a break.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
In sports news, Zanaco Football Club head coach Nomba Mumamba has described his team's 1-1 draw against the Green Buffaloes in their Week 7 fixture as a fair outcome, though he expressed disappointment over missed scoring opportunities. Speaking after the match, Mumamba acknowledged the strength of the opposition, stating that securing a point against a team like Buffaloes was acceptable. However, he lamented his side's inability to capitalize on their dominance in the first half, where they created several chances but failed to convert. Zamfort reports that despite the draw, Mumamba emphasized the importance of maximizing home advantage, noting that while they fell short of securing all 3 points, the result still contributes positively to their campaign. Zanaco entered the match without 5 key players. Lambert Arena and Robert Saizi were sidelined with injuries. John Chishimba was ill, and Frederick Mwimanzi and George Ngoma were ineligible to play against their parent club, Green Buffaloes. Mumamba praised the performance of the replacements, commending their ability to meet expectations and maintain the team's competitive edge despite the absences. Addressing the issue of missed chances, Mumamba stressed the need to improve finishing and confirmed that the technical bench would focus on this area during training sessions. The match saw Ian Sindaye give Zanaco the lead in the 47th minute, assisted by Malawian forward Chawananga Kaonga. Green Buffaloes equalized in the 77th minute through a penalty converted by Monga Chilimba. And a brief moment of confusion occurred during the game when Green Buffaloes had 12 players on the pitch, but the error was quickly rectified. As we leave the headlines once again. Zambia's High Commissioner to Botswana, Pamela Tsanga, has called on Zambia and Botswana to capitalize on their shared economic strengths and bilateral ties to attract tangible investment across key sectors. The Ministry of Tourism has set a target to fully digitize all tourism licenses by the end of 2025 in a bid to enhance efficiency and transparency within the sector. The Patriots for Economic Progress, PAPE, have proposed the establishment of a 2 billion kwacha contingency fund in their 2026 alternative national budget to enhance our fiscal sustainability and enabling swift response to unforeseen national emergencies. Zanaco Football Club head coach Nomba Mumamba has described his team's 1-1 draw against the Green Buffaloes in their Week 7 fixture as a fair outcome, though he expressed disappointment over missed scoring opportunities. Thank you so much for listening and watching. My name is Imelda Chikwati. Stay tuned to Sun FM Radio and TV.
The News, 88.5 Sun FM.
A comprehensive coverage of local and national news, business, politics, and sports. The Sun FM News was brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
Sometimes life happens, and we all need that extra something to sort things out. Stay ahead.